Thank you for joining Listing Objections Bootcamp. I mean, we've gone through a good series of momentum. I think we've hit a lot of things, whether it's been open house, whether it's been listing conversions, for sale by owners. The challenge has been given. The challenge is thrown out there for you guys. It's whether you guys want to accept it or not, for you to move forward and getting the business. As you can see, we are in a different type of a market as it was maybe a year or two ago. The market's not, it's not as easy. It's a little bit of a challenge, right? It's even a little bit of a challenge speaking with clients or trying to get through to them. And I think with this class, Listing Objections Bootcamp, I think with this class, it's going to be more of a refresher, because I believe that we all have an idea that we know how to speak to a client, or I call them a customer before I even call them a client. A customer, because that's your first time that you speak with them. They haven't necessarily have signed anything for them to be your client. That's a future client. So I think that when we speak to a customer, a borrower, a seller, even a buyer, the idea is that we have it in the bag, that it comes natural and easy for us. But at the same time, it has to do more with, do we know our market share? Do we know what we're going to tell them? And how educated are we when it comes down to objections? So when we get into this class, it says here, before we get started, we're on a never-ending quest to move away from the typical. Okay, so this is page 3, guys. You want to substantially increase your listing inventory, right? Who wants more listings?
Me.
Everybody does. I know I do. I just got a listing and I just placed it into escrow and I'm working on another one. And let me tell you, the struggle is real trying to get these listings, but you have to go and prepare. You want to master effective, proven dialogue, meaning if you know your dialogue, if you know what you're talking about, it becomes easier to talk to the client because of the objections that they're going to come out with. Third, you want to differentiate yourself from the typical. So what does that mean, guys? What do you think that means? You want to differentiate yourself from the typical. You want to stand out against everybody else.
Yes.
You want to be I want to say you want to be above everybody else. Like everybody else, there's a show that I've been watching, and I'm so how can I say, I'm hooked on it. I want to say I'm in love with it. I think it's because I wanted to be an attorney before anything else. Getting into this in this industry, it's called the show Suits.
Oh.
Okay, so in the show Suits, there's a character named Harvey Specter, and he tells his protege Mike that Harvey works on this level. So he wants to stand above on this level, and everybody else is down on this level. And it makes sense. He's not being cocky. He's confident in his delivery of what he says to his clientele. So if you're confident within yourself, any objection, any dialogue that gets given to you, you should be able to, it's like saying, you should be able to fight it off and go, boom, boom, and ward that off and then be able to proceed. You want to study and practice to maximize your production. How many of us are studying and maximizing our production? Are we studying studying meaning our mastery? How often are we working on our dialogue? Are we working on that? No, right? No, right? No. Let's just be honest with each other.
No,
we're not. Okay. And that happens, but what happens when you're in front of a client and you start stuttering and then you start thinking? And then the funny part is that your facial expression goes along, it kind of goes all together. They ask you something and then you're unsure what to say, and then your eyes go backwards, and then you're like, or you say, where that confidence level is not there because now you're trying to figure out what you're going to say. There is a saying, you need to be on your toes. In the class that I did for cold calling, what's the one thing that's recommended when you're cold calling? Always be on your feet, never sitting down. You want to be uncomfortable. When you're in an uncomfortable position, then it becomes easier. In an uncomfortable position, you get growth. It sounds kind of weird, but it does. It makes sense. So typical agents work on overcoming objections. Successful consultants work on preventing objections. Okay, so if you really listen to that, or if you really see that, it makes a whole lot of sense. Typical agents work on overcoming objections. So typical agents, the regular agent, oh, I need to know the answer for that objection. That's typical. Successful consultants work on preventing objections. When you're preventing objections, is because you already know the mastery, you already know the dialogue, okay? So we're still on page 3. It's at the bottom. So before we get started, well, the question is, what is the best way to prevent an objection? What does it say?
Prepare. Be prepared.
Work on improving your conversational weaknesses. Okay, so all of us, we either are very good at speaking our language of choice. I say that lightly. Either our first language could be Spanish, or it could be Mandarin, or our first language is English, or my second language is Spanish, okay? So either way, if I'm meeting with someone that's just English, fluent in English, I wanna make sure I'm good with my conversations, where I'm not stuttering, where I'm not confident about what I'm saying, especially in my language, Spanish, that's another one. So we always have to continue improving, because conversation, we cannot be weak in our conversation. Now, it says here, we have to work on sparring. Sparring is for you to study and practice and take action, okay? So when you study your conversations, you study your dialogue, you study like the client, you study your market share, you're able to practice it, you take action so that you're prepared in front of the client, right? So the question is, how often do you spend sparring to get better? How often, Marisa?
No, I just go.
You go with the flow, right?
Time, yeah.
So I don't want to sound mean, but because you just said it right now, you go. So that's considered the typical agent. We're not typical. Adriana, how often do you spend working on your sparring to get better?
I try. At least 1 time per month.
1 time a month.
Uh-huh.
That you do the swap meets.
Oh,
At the swap meets, you meet people.
yeah.
Okay, so, but the thing is now, but the same thing.
That's why, because in my experience over there are a lot of people know more things than me. So that give me the red flag that I had to study that kind of things. So that's why I say I try to study like 1 time per month, because I want to be prepared when the next person comes with that kind of question. So or try to show he knows the market and everything, and I had the answer. So
Isn't it funny how the consumer, they sound like a realtor, right?
yeah.
They sound like a realtor because they're Googling, they're on Zillow.com,
Yeah.
they're on Google, they're on everything that they shouldn't be on, and they don't even have a license, but then they're trying to coach us.
Yeah.
But it's funny, but here's the other funny part, where they are more confident about talking about our business, but then we're the ones that have a license, but yet we're not confident to speak about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put it this way. The more you enjoy the line of business that you're in, or the more you love it, it's gonna be easier for you to talk about it when you know more about it.
Yes.
We know about our business, but we just have to now have confidence. So after saying that you're not spending that much time on sparring for you to, for you to study, practice, and take action. Don't we all want to get better at that?
Yes.
So your production will increase once you work on your mastery, because momentum teaches that this is our mastery. Your production will increase, your productivity will increase. We need to lead and have more productive lives. So how do we lead to have a more productive life? We need to study. We need to study our dialogues. We need to study the clients. We need to study the market share, our area, the interests, the schooling, everything. We have to even know something about financing when it comes down to loans And isn't like first time home buyer programs. I love it when they ask me that question. Well, isn't there first time home buyer programs? You know what I actually say? There's no such thing as a first time home buyer program. There really isn't. Because all the programs are for everybody, whether you're a first timer, second timer, third timer, investor. There's no such thing, but we want to make it special for them. Everybody qualifies to buy a home, believe it or not. They do. It's just, it depends on how much they qualify for. Think about it. Everyone can qualify for a home, but it might not be the qualification amount that they're wanting, but they qualify. So they qualify for $150,000. They qualify. You see? So it's like that whole first time home buyer thing. I go, everybody qualifies for a home loan. Let's get started. Okay? That's the way that I usually talk to someone. Oh, well, aren't there first time home buyers? There's programs for everybody. There's even programs for, actually there's a program that came out for, and I want to do more investigation work on it because I saw it on a commercial. And like I said, I want to Google it more about it. With people that have elderly parents, that they can actually put their property on the market to buy a home for their elderly parent, that it's going to be convenient for them for accessibility and everything so that they don't have to sell their home and move into a convalescent home. There's a program that's out there for that, which is kind of odd, and I want to do more information on it. I saw a commercial about it because 9 times out of 10 elderly people don't want to move into a convalescent home. However, we, the realtor, always want to push for that sale. Well, we can actually transfer them from a home to another home with that program, and they will help them. So it's kind of weird. I want to get more information about it, but see, that's something that probably no one knew about, but that's knowing more about what's out there. So we need to learn more, and we need to learn more about our area of expertise so that we can have more of a productive growth. So we need to study to get into these classes. We need to study more for these classes so that we can get more productive. And we're going to go on page, I believe it's on page 5. Page 5, I want you guys to look at this slide though, okay? Because page 5 doesn't have this slide, it's actually on page 3. But let's look at the screen up here. To prevent listing objections and questions and concerns, you must, this is a good one, allow sellers to self-discover, and you guys have to be a leader. 9 times out of 10, we go into a listing appointment telling the seller, this is what you should list your home. Does anybody like to get told anything? No. We want to advise. How does that sound? That sounds better, right? We want to advise. Self-discovery inside the conversation. We cannot tell. We cannot sell. We cannot present with the sellers. We can't do a presentation with the sellers and expect them, hey, this is how it should go. We need to advise. The objections will be high if you let the objections will be high in a conversation with the seller if you continue telling them what they should be selling their home for. They're going to be very standoffish, right? You should sell your home for $500,000. You need to sell your home for $500,000.
I need to sell my home.
You see how aggressive she came at me? She got very defensive. You need to sell your home at $500,000. See, and I'm glad that she actually spoke about it. I need to, because that's what a seller's going to interpret. They're going to be like, oh, wait a minute. You don't want that. Have them self-discover the everything that you're giving to them. When you're going for a listing presentation, obviously you have to be prepared, but you go in with a relationship-based conversation. Because remember, we're there to gain a relationship with them. Yes, we want the job, but we also have to remember what we learned in the listings class over 2 weeks ago. It's relationship-based for it to become a referral-based, so they can have more of a network. It has to be a win-win. Remember, you are the leader, and you have to come in with a relationship-based approach. And the concept of a win-win. It has to be a win-win for them as much as it has to be a win-win for you. Remember, we can fire a client. We can fire a customer. I know everybody wants the whole, I want this listing, the idea of I want this listing, but you have to understand, if you go in with a client that's very aggressive and very with the wall standoffish, It's gonna lead to more problems down the line, and you're gonna end up putting so much energy into that client. It's gonna make you lose out on opportunity elsewhere. So remember, it has to be relationship based. Number 2, move beyond opinion. So this is like, my opinion of your house is $500,000. You got to sell at $500,000. She's waving her head. She's going, no. So the idea with this is move beyond opinion and be tangible. So be tangible is that you have to come in with fact, tangible fact. So Adriana, I have 10 homes here that sold at $550,000. Okay, she's still being standoffish, but if you go in with fact, it makes sense. Okay, so remember, it has to be tangible. People will only trust and follow what we can explain, not an opinion. If we can explain the reason why I believe you should sell your home at $500,000, and I can prove it to you and show it to you, you are more willing to basically trust me that I'm going to be able to sell it. And it's not just an opinion that I'm saying, oh, guess what? I Googled your home before I got here, and I checked it up on Zillow, and it says we could sell it at that. No, where are the comps? They're tangible. Number 3, remember, they are making an emotional decision, but we need to be strategists. What does that mean? So if we need to be strategists, we need to be logical. It has to make sense. Be intentional, proactive, and be accountable to where the weakness is. Okay, so become a strategist. So you're coming in, letting them know, hey, I got 10 properties here that sold at this price. This is my strategy. In the last class, it shows what the value of a realtor is in this business. There's I think over 32 bullet points. This is what we do in our business. I'm actually kind of curious if it's over here. No, it's not. There in the last class that we had, the listings class, this helps for your listing presentations. It tells you all the things as a listing agent that you're going to be doing. So when it's asking you to become a strategist, okay, Marisa, as your realtor, I'm going to be doing this open house. I'm going to be doing this. Once you start talking to the customer and saying this is what your job is, their objections are going to start going down. And then what's another common objection that we always get besides the listing price? Commission. Because I'm going down the list, do you think that they may object on how much I charge for commission? No, right?
They even ask, I'm gonna pay for all that? And I say, no, it's come out from my commission. It's like, oh.
Exactly, but your value is there because
Yeah.
you're showing everything that you're going to be doing from before you put it on the market, from the time you put it on the market till even after you place it on the market. There's a list, and it's a great approach when speaking to the customer. Okay, you have to evaluate your strengths and weaknesses after every conversation. So it says here, track your results. So you have to be accountable. So when you're going in and speaking with a client or a customer, be accountable, track your results. If it's a good conversation, good outcome, think about why it became a good outcome for you. 9 times out of 10, especially right now in this market, a lot of sellers, if they're planning on putting their properties on the market, what are they doing? They are doing interviews with a lot of agents, right? So we have to come in expecting that the mindset should be, they're gonna pick me. Okay, but you have to come in prepared. If something by any chance happens during that presentation and you find out from the customer, hey, what was the reason why you didn't choose me, you went with this person? Find out and then improve from it, okay? Don't beat yourself to a pulp. Just find out and make sure you don't commit the same mistake again. Improve your results, be intentional. Every time that you're going in with the mindset of, you know what, I'm gonna get this. Okay, so you didn't get it. Find out why you didn't get it. Make sure you move forward and you make sure you don't do it again. Improve on it. So that means improving your dialogue, your conversation, your objection handling. That's gonna be something big to do. Because guess what, guys? Becoming professionally attractive is important. So this is the funny part. Professionally attractive. That doesn't mean like wearing pink, okay? No, that doesn't mean like your outfit. No, you have to have this type of disposition. You have to be confident. You have to be likable, approachable, open to suggestion, organized, structured, aware, genuine, intentional, proactive, logical, focused, unique, honest, and passionate. Look at what you shouldn't be. Timid, incompatible, withdrawn. Does anybody know what withdrawn means?
Mhm.
Not paying attention.
Oh no, that's bad.
That's a bad thing, right? Withdrawn, having your phone right there on the side and it keeps blowing up and it rings and buzzes, whatever. Or unorganized. Oh my gosh, imagine going to a listing presentation and you cannot find your listing paperwork, you cannot find your listing presentation. When you go unorganized, when you seem like you're so disheveled and you don't know what's going on, that's embarrassing. That counts against us. Can't be chaotic. Phony. Do you know what phony means? Fake. Fake. Phony is a nice word of saying fake. Everybody likes to use the word fake, but if you want to be a fancy, phony. Reactive. That's a big one. Yeah, Marisa, that's a big one because that shows in our faces. Our reactions mean everything, so we have to be very, very careful. See, Sarah has a poker face.
What's that mean?
Your poker face, meaning I don't know when you're when you're upset. I don't know when you're sad, and I don't know when you're happy. It's just very chill. Like I can tell that you're smiling, so that's a good sign. But what I'm trying to get at, I'm pretty sure that if you don't like something that your client says, I'm pretty sure your facial expression doesn't even show it. I'm pretty sure you know how to be calm and
Yes.
calm. Yeah, that's something that I have to learn how to do because everything shows here. It doesn't matter how much Botox we can get, it shows, okay?
That's me.
Yeah.
But that's right too. But I think so the way you speak when the people give you the objections, because if you are reacting like no, wait, is this the way, this is the strategy, so the person don't want to go with you. You have to be like proactive, show in the nice way, like you are the right one, the right agent for
The job.
Yes.
So that's a good point. So when you're speaking to somebody, don't come out aggressive. Like when if you were to react, because it says here not to, you got to be careful when you're reactive. You can react, just react and nod your head. Okay, I'm hearing you, because that's a non-aggressive approach.
Yes.
Okay, it's a non-threatening approach. I like to say non-threatening better. Non-threatening approach, because once you basically understand when someone's defenses are up. Because you feel it. So you just got to learn not to be that way. Okay? I know, Marisa, I mean, we'll hold hands with each other. I'm telling you, because I hear you, I feel you, I get it. Okay?
It's difficult for me.
Another one that's important, we cannot be misleading. Misleading. Okay? Misleading is, we can't, on the opposite as you have to be honest. So don't say that you can do it and you're not going to be able to do it. Your actions speak louder than your words. So just don't be misleading. And don't be indifferent, okay? Indifferent, you want to be passionate about what you're doing. They want to see that a client always wants to see that you have their best interests, okay? So if we have their best interest, that works. But if we're just getting a listing just to get the listing because we want to get paid in 30 days, they're going to feel that, and that's showing no passion. That's just showing that they're just another person on the, as far as volume is concerned. Let me explain something to you guys. Top volume producers, all they think about is volume. So they don't care about, I hate to say this because this is, they've done what's it called? They've done research on it. Where top volume producers, volume, meaning they want a lot of volume. They don't care if the listing gets canceled. All they want is the numbers, the numbers, the numbers, the numbers. Okay, and so my philosophy on what I do with my clients is I don't see them as a number, I see them as a customer for life. That's why this is considered a relationship-based business, which is important. So remember, they are not a number, they are a relationship, because you never know what other clients you get from them, okay? Let's talk about pricing objections, guys. Pricing objections is going to be on page 6. Okay.
Wait for a second, on page 3, what's that mean, SPAR?
Study, practice, and take action. You have to study, practice, and take action. So you gotta study your dialogue, you gotta study your scripts. You just gotta make sure that you're doing your work. You gotta know your market share, know your marketplace, know your client. It's study, practice, and take action. That's pretty much what it is. That's what they call sparring.
What's that R?
Study, practice, and take action.
Study, practice, take action.
Okay. Okay, so let's talk about pricing objections. Pricing homes is not an exact science, okay? This is funny. Pricing objections are by far the most common form of listing objections. Okay, so we're on top of page 6. Okay, most sellers feel their home is worth more than it actually is, and have a hard time justifying their price beyond what I need, what I want, or what I pay. Since the seller's perception is indeed his or her reality, you must keep the 5 rules in mind when addressing pricing objections, questions, or concerns. So what are those? Those are, stay curious. So when they're talking, always ask questions. So Adriana, you're telling me that I should sell your home for $800,000. That's great. Okay, I'm happy to know that that's the price. Tell me a little bit more about your home and how did you get to that price? So see, I'm asking questions. I'm gonna continue asking questions. Why? Because then the seller starts becoming more, how can I say, in the moment. They tend to getting more in the moment of, oh, okay, you know what? Why did I say 800,000? Because, you know, Liz brought me 10 comps and none of them are even close to 800,000. So they started rethinking the idea of that price. Stay away from arrogance. So I like to say, don't be a Miss Know-It-All or Mr. Know-It-All. Marisa, why are we having a problem with this? You're not arrogant.
Like that.
Huh?
I hate people like that.
I know, but the thing is, we can't say hate. We
Okay, I'm
dislike
sorry. I
people like that.
dislike people. Sorry, I dislike.
I get all those. I mean, it's like you know, it's funny. In the moment when you're speaking with someone, I want to roll my eyes so far back and be like, oh my gosh, where did you come from? Where did you come from? But I can't. So I just take it in, and it's like you know those little statues, those Buddha statues that are there like this? I literally want to go woosah because I want to choke them out when they tell me that they think that their home is like over $1 million and we're in a neighborhood that's only 500,000. I'm like, okay. So we have to stay away from arrogance. So when they become very aggressive and on the defense, keep your cool. You gotta still continue to be likable. You gotta stay calm and keep your emotions out. Let them be emotional. Because what happens when you're emotional and then they're emotional? Then it's what is it? Bumper to bumper. It's just horrible. You just don't get anywhere. If Sarah's emotional about wanting to sell her home for $2 billion, and I'm telling her, your home is only worth $1 million, not $2 billion, she's gonna yell at me, and I can't yell back at her. We have to be good on the same level, okay? Or I have to basically calm her emotions down so that we can go back to the same page. Okay, you gotta calm them down. Let's backtrack, and the best way to do that is just let's go back to the reason why I'm here to sit down with you. I'm here to develop a relationship with you, to get to know you better and to understand the reason why we are now in the market of wanting to sell your home. So let's go back and rephrase that whole conversation and find out what's the reason why Sarah wants to sell her home.
Sorry.
Now, stay proactive. Know your walkaway price. Okay, obviously we have to control their emotions, keep our emotions out. So when they tell us or they want to tell us how to do our job, we got to stay calm. But then we have to neutralize their emotions, so we have to keep them calm. Now we have to be proactive and know our walkaway price. Do you guys understand what that means? Do you guys know what it means to know your walkaway price? Okay, so in Momentum, they really want you to understand that you should know to walk away from a customer that's not being realistic. But what happens in our marketplace or in our real estate world? Agents don't want to walk away. Why? Because the idea or the mindset that they have is, I got this listing presentation. I need to get this listing presentation. I need to get this listing because I want to make 30 grand in 30 days. I want to get this into escrow, because they don't feel confident enough to walk away and see if they can get another listing appointment set. So in Momentum, what they're trying to explain to the agents is that you have to know your self-worth and your value, which that ties along with your commission. And on top of that, you have to know when to walk away from an unrealistic customer. Taking an overpriced listing to say that we got a listing is not good. Don't make that a habit. You have to know if you are in a win-win situation and if it's worth it. Okay? Remember justification equals leverage. If you're able to justify the list price, if you're able to justify what this property can really sell at, you have leverage. And when you have leverage, what does that mean? Those objections start what? Diminishing, going down. Remember, the idea of the listing objections or this objections class is to make sure we know how to communicate correctly, effectively, and know that we have what I've been saying numerous times in these classes, a motivated, qualified, and loyal customer. That's the MQL. If we have a motivated, qualified that they know that what we're giving them, that's tangible. Remember, tangible. We have proof that this is what your home can sell at, and that they're loyal to us, and that on top of that, we've established a working relationship, meaning these are my expectations from you, the customer, and this is what you're gonna expect from me. If we can have that communication back and forth, your objections, guess what? They're gonna go down. Okay, which would be great, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's funny, at the bottom of page 6, it says, talk is cheap. Taking overpriced listings behaviorally communicates a dangerous message. What happens when you take an overpriced listing? What happens when agents take an overpriced listing?
After it expired.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
It expires. I've seen, no joke, I have seen a lot of expired listings lately. After 2 weeks, they don't want to sell it no more, and they end up going with another agent for a cheaper price. So exactly, that could have been avoided, because then guess what? It's a multiple listing on the MLS, and they're gonna show the one that was canceled or withdrawn and the other one that was active, but get the days on the market, they follow. So what do clients are gonna be like, oh, how come it was on that market for so long? Oh, because it was overpriced. Well, now I want to try to bring down the price on this one. And the seller, that's their fault. It becomes a win-lose situation. They lost, that agent won, because now the agent has to say, hey, you know what? Those buyers, they're not interested in your home. They're interested in this other home because it makes more sense. So it's not a fun conversation to have, but it's being realistic. Let's move over to pricing beliefs. This is going to be on top of page 7. So the pricing beliefs, here's a list of the key beliefs you must possess as a pricing specialist. Remember, you guys are pricing specialists. Not also are you a realtor, you're a single family residence, commercial real estate agent of the world. You are a pricing specialist. Beliefs form the parameters for win-win relationships. Pricing homes is not an exact science. We already know that. Informed people make intelligent decisions. Isn't that right? Informed people make intelligent decisions. Are we typical realtors?
No.
Thank you. We are not typical realtors. We are intelligent realtors. We know our market share. Homes sell for two reasons. Sellers determine price. Buyers really determine how much they want to buy a home for. Okay? Buyers determine value. Price should never exceed value. Using needs to justify price. Sellers' needs can never be used to justify value. So if the seller says, I need $200,000 from the sale of this home, well, that's great that you need it, but the buyer's not going to see it that way. Think about it that way. That's how you turn it over. There's an example in this momentum class that says that the seller needs $25,000 in order to purchase their other home. Does the buyer ever think about that? No. Does the buyer care? No, not really. Competition determines price entry point. The pricing game is all about justification. An effective pricing strategy supports win-win working relationships. So when you're meeting with your customer, with your listing appointment, what you want to determine a win-win working relationship. If it's a win-lose, is that going to work? No. If it's a lose-lose, is it going to work? No. We want to win-win all the time. People have lived before you. Okay, well that one's funny. Pricing homes in the neighborhood pricing homes is a neighborhood or specific area. Tangible tools trump all opinions. People will trust and follow what you can logically and tangibly explain. Basically, we're talking the same thing that we spoke about earlier. It's unacceptable to leave the seller's money on the table. That's a big one right there, you guys. We spoke about this before. It is unacceptable to leave the seller's money on the table. What puts in motion stays in motion. Okay, so now we're going to go through some dialogue, guys. Dialogue is extremely important in this because dialogue basically is the approach that you have and the conversations that you have with your customers. Okay, so initial pricing objection. So based on all the information available, at what price do you think we should enter the market? Okay. So here's the thing, unrealistic pricing. After looking at the research we've covered together, would you share with me how you arrive at this price? Okay, so Adriana, how much do you want to sell your home for?
400.
400,000. And your home, okay, so this is going to be the scenario. Marisa, you're going to be playing along.
Okay.
It's going to be easy. Adriana wants to sell her home for 400,000. In her market area, the homes are selling at 320,000. So basically, she wants to sell it at an unrealistic price. The reason why I'm doing it this way and not going through this dialogue is because we should already know what the dialogue is. We've already covered a good amount of information early on in the first 8 pages of this worksheet to be able to know how to approach the situation. So Adriana wants to sell at 400. She has a 2-bedroom, 2-bath home in Barstow. Ouch. Okay. In Barstow, 400 grand. The market is only 320,000. How do you convince her otherwise?
So, Adriana, I have all these comparables to show you. This is what the market is in your area. The property value of your house is based on your square footage of the house and all the updates that you made in the house. The realistic price of your house will be 320. If we listed it at 400, we're gonna have a risk of not getting any offers because this is the houses that we're competing against. This house has 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and it's at 330. And this one has a little bit bigger lot of view, so it's $60,000 less of your value. I understand the will of our houses, and we want the max of the price. But realistically, this is the proof I have for you, which is the real price of your house.
Adriana, you can do a rebuttal.
Why is I sold the house and the price like 380, and because my house, I don't know, the kitchen is brand new and have big backyard, so that's value for me.
And she has 24 karat gold toilets in the bathroom.
I totally understand. The appraisal will may increase a little bit the value on all those upgrades that you did, but the real price based on the square footage and based on the houses that were sold around your area is this.
Can you show me your comparable?
Yes, like I said, this one has 1 more bedroom than your house, and it's 320, and it has a little bit, your square footage on the lawn is 7,000 square footage, and this one is 8,000. This means this house we're competing against is a bigger house, a lower price, so most of our clients are gonna go towards that house because it's bigger and cheaper. So I don't wanna lie to you. I mean, we can market at that price, but that will be waste your time and my time because it's not a real price. I love your house, it's beautiful, but we may be able to get a little bit more when the appraisal comes and see all the upgrades you did. I don't know.
Okay, so this is good. So then here's another thing, so that you can add on to that, because here's the thing. You went in with the right mindset, Marisa, because you're bringing in something tangible. You're showing comparables. Now also put this one in perspective. I'm also gonna show you some pendings.
Oh, I didn't, yeah, okay.
These are homes that are in escrow.
Mm-hmm.
They're in escrow, but you see that price? It hasn't closed escrow yet. So we don't know if that's gonna affect the comparables in your area. That's one. Number 2, let me show you some homes that you're saying that you wanna list at 400,000, okay. So here are the homes in the area that are listed at 400 and above, or close to your square footage. Look how many days on the market there is. Do you think that are any more clientele or customers are wanting to view that home? If you were to see a home that's been on the market for 127 days and you're a buyer, what's the first thing that you're going to ask?
What's wrong with it?
What's wrong with it? So here's another one. So that's another one. So now you have the pendings. You have the ones that have been on the market for a very long time. And then here's a thing that they mentioned in Momentum that you have to keep in mind. The 7-step pricing strategy, that's in the listings class. And it's in the brackets. You gotta find out what were their needs of wanting to put the property on the market. So always hit home. Remember, we have to take a detour. They're stuck, or Adriana is stuck on 400K. No, now let's redirect. I love the word redirect. Instead of using detour, let's redirect them back. What was the reason why Adriana wanted to sell her home?
Because she said that all the upgrades she did and, she put.
Is that the reason why she really wants to sell her home?
Oh, no.
Oh, no,
that's
the price.
The
I was
reason on
thinking
the
about the
price.
price.
What's the reason why Adriana wants to sell her home? Well, because she already has 8 children and she's expecting 2 more.
Ay.
So now she's gonna have 10 kids, and in a 2-bedroom home, she needs a farm, okay? she needs more property, right? So in other words, we have to redirect them and go back to the mindset. What was the mindset of Adriana wanting to sell her home? The home is too small for her. She needs a bigger home. Okay, so not only are we talking about the unrealistic price, we have to now redirect and go back to the motivation of the reason why she wants to sell the home.
Yeah, because I'm going to have 10 kids. So I need more money to get the bigger house. Yeah.
There you go. So she wants to have 10 kids. Oh no, she's gonna have 10 kids. She can't do anything about it. Where is she gonna, one of those kids is her husband. So imagine that. She has all them kids and then her husband. Where are they all gonna sleep? Okay, so do you understand
Yes.
the whole unrealistic price? Okay, it's unrealistic. So let's move forward. So using the pricing tools, remember, seller unrealistically wants to set or use a benchmark price. That's why you say per your research. So you did per the comparables, per what's going on inside. And here's another one. Be like, you can also throw this one in there. I'm waiting for the day that someone actually uses this idea. Do you have 5 minutes? Because if they're in that mindset and you've done enough research on the area, I would also think that you would know what homes are selling in the area. I'll be like, do you have 5 minutes? I go, why don't we do this? Let's go view this home right now. Let me tell you what at this price, what you get. Give them a tour. Why not?
Yes.
Remember, there's no such thing as a time limit on a listing presentation. I like to say that I like to be in that presentation until the paperwork gets signed. Because then they offer me like food, they show me the photo albums. But if I'm gonna be there, I'm gonna be there until they cave in. So hey, if there's a property for sale up the street and it's to the comparable exactly to their home, I'm gonna tell them, hey, you know what? I want you to see this property. It just got remodeled, renovated. I want you to go and look at it. Okay? Any questions so far?
No.
Because these are good outcomes. Okay. So how about the seller wants to list above the competition? Okay, no, we've done that one. We can list high, however, that will put us in the high end of the competition. At a high end of the price range, you can expect to remain active for X amount of months. Per your timing need, this option should be unacceptable. Wouldn't you agree? So Adriana wants to list at 400,000. Let's just say Adriana does not want to change. She's like, no, Marisa, I don't care if my 10 children, we all sleep on the floor in a 2-bedroom home. Marisa can come back and say, you know what? Okay, I get it that you just spent $100,000 on this kitchen. However, I'm showing you the comparables. In that example, I said, let's show pending and let's show the ones that are active longer days on the market. Now, and if you have a computer with you, your laptop or your iPad, show them the MLS. Bring it up.
I usually did that.
Yes.
Yeah, I did. I forgot right now, but I did have like the active, the ones we're gonna be competing with, and then the ones already like closed.
Exactly. So go on the MLS and look at the ones that are like 100 days on the market, and then have them look at the property. And then then you'll say, Adriana, at the high end of that price of $400,000, this property right here has been active on the market for 127 days. You're about to give birth in like 6 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, you want to sell this home quick because we need to get you into your replacement property, right? So wouldn't you agree that maybe pricing it better would be better for you? They're gonna say yes, because why does Adriana want to be placed in that position? She's gonna be stressed. So remember, it doesn't even matter if it's Adriana. Just think about it with your customer. What is their wants, their needs to putting the property on the market?
You got me, because you say the time. I'm going to be
giving birth in 6 weeks.
Yeah, in 6 weeks. So I'm not going to be able to move or nothing. So I had to do this transaction. So I'm thinking now drop the price.
Drop the price. Okay. So see, Adriana now figured it out. Oh shoot, I'm giving birth. I'm in my last trimester, and then obviously we don't know if she could be giving birth in 6 weeks or in 3 weeks. Oh, I had a client like that. She was pregnant and she was buying a house. And I was like, oh my gosh, she goes, she's stressed out. And at one point she contacts me, she goes, I'm having contractions. And I'm like, why are you calling me? She's like, I'm having contractions. She goes, and I need to close extra. And I go, oh, okay, we're gonna close extra. She goes, I gotta let you go, I gotta let you go. And I'm like, okay, now I'm thinking, did she give birth? No, so it was a false alarm because she was so stressed out. And I'm like, okay, we're already in line for docs. She goes, I need to sign my loan documents. So I'm like, okay, I go, listen, even if you give birth, like the notary will be there after you give birth to sign your loan documents. So funny part was that the day before she gave birth, she went into labor. We signed her loan, we got the loan documents. So right after she gave birth, which was the following day she gave birth, we were already ready to go to fund and everything. And I'm like, I got your keys. She goes, okay. She goes, okay, I gotta let you go because she had just had her baby. So that was funny, but it does happen. How about if Adriana goes into labor early? Okay, but again, regardless if it's someone pregnant, let's say if it's they need to find their replacement property, they're moving out of state, we need to go back and redirect. What's the main purpose of them wanting to sell their home? So when it comes to unrealistic pricing, I think you guys have that narrowed down, okay? But then these are the people that I love. Stubborn sellers. We deal with that all the time, don't we?
Yes.
I love stubborn sellers. Those are the ones that you can't get through, and I don't know why they act this way. But it says here, stubborn sellers, bottom line dialogue. Okay. You use once you have exhausted your justification. So, okay, let's say Adriana is just stubborn. She does not want to move away from the 400,000. She doesn't see the anything that you're explaining to her. Okay, so you see, Adriana, finding an appropriate price for the home is not an abstract philosophy. We have the opportunity to know and understand what the buyers in your area are doing. Point to pricing tools. Okay, so when it says point to pricing tools, that's when you show the comps over again. Show them, and this is what's being justified in your area. This is what's being sold in your area. And then you tell them, at what category would you like to be in? Okay, so she says no at 400,000. Great. Then the absolute highest I would feel comfortable listing the home is for 380. Is this agreeable to you?
385.
Okay, so Sarah, how about if Adriana wants to sell her home at 385,000?
We still sign the listing agreement, but you can give me like a 1 month to try first. We put like you want the price. If nothing doesn't work, now we just reduce by the 320,000.
How do you feel?
I like that idea.
She's giving you a month.
2 months.
2 weeks, 2 weeks.
Yes. I said no, that's too long.
I was like, that's too long. She might want to.
2 weeks.
She's gonna start yelling at you every day. How come I didn't get an offer? I'm pregnant. I'm about to give birth. I want out. These babies are killing me. Yeah, 2 weeks. That's good.
I think so.
That's actually being nice. I go in slightly more for the kill. Listen, Adriana, I get it. You want 300, you want 400. Now you came down at 385. Okay, this is how I see it. You want that higher price. I gave you all these comparables because I'm gonna lay them out in front of her. Okay, because they say that when you're visual, people tend to pay attention more. I'm laying out all the comparables. Boom, boom, boom. Here are the comparables. I even have a net sheet of what you can get when you close your property for what you're gonna get in your, like, what's gonna be wired to your bank account. But I'm gonna do this. You understand that if I overprice your home, it's gonna be on the market for a very long time. The buyers that come into this home may not be the buyers for this home. Why? Because there's another home that's exactly that your square footage, the comparable, everything, but it's a lot cheaper, more expensive.
And also, if the house is not gonna for real appraise that.
That's another one. That's a good justification. If the property doesn't appraise, this is what happens, Adriana. What happens if the property doesn't, let's say we have a buyer, but the property doesn't appraise. Do you know that if the agent sends me that appraisal, I have to now disclose what the appraised value is if they fall out of escrow?
So can I make my appraisal before or no?
That could be an out-of-pocket cost. But I'm just gonna let you know, what you decide to do with a third-party company doesn't mean that the buyer is going to be able to use that appraisal. Okay, these are things that happen. No joke. These are things that happen.
Yeah, it's true.
So for the stubborn buyers or for the stubborn sellers, okay, so see, it says here, verified and agreed upon price will satisfy appropriate needs, calculating that sheet appropriate. I'll tell you this. What happens if, your home doesn't sell? You'll be unhappy, right?
Yeah.
Because you're gonna give birth to those twins.
Yeah, my twins and my parents is coming too. So
They're coming from Colombia.
Yeah, so I need bigger houses as soon as possible.
So in Momentum, it always asks, what happens if the home sells tomorrow? In this case, we have a stubborn seller that has yet to agree on a list price. So because we have not agreed on that list price, so let's switch it. Instead of saying, what happens if the property sells tomorrow? What happens if your property's on the market for a long time and there's no sale, no interested buyer? How are you gonna feel?
Disappointed.
Disappointed, right? But you can't be disappointed with me because look, giving you all the facts. So why don't we do this, Adriana? I know that you want to list at 385 because now I got you down from 400 to 385. I'll put your property on the market for 1 week.
Do you know why it's important that nobody asked me is where I'm going to move? Because
Very good.
Wow. That defines the price. You can say, hey, with that net sheet, they show you that this is the money you're going to be in your pocket. So with that money, you can be able to get your new house and the location you are planning to move. So it's like, because yes, why I need that desperate money? Because I need bigger house or bigger property or whatever I am planning. So is that the question important to me is ask where are you planning to move? In the same state or out of the state, move to maybe Florida, you can find a cheaper house over there, or Texas. So that's because you showed me that, I said, okay, let's go drop the price.
See, Adriana just made me smile because now she's thinking like a realtor. Very good. So yes, the question is, we haven't even asked this. Okay, she wants to sell her property. I've been saying, we need to find out the motivation of her wanting to buy it. Oh, like what's the real motivation? We already said she has 10,000 children that she's gonna have. She's in a small home, but we never asked the important question. What happened, guys, if you have coffees on your desk and we still haven't asked the question? I have a coffee right here. Where is she moving to next?
So all I remember was that she needed a bigger house.
Exactly. So at this point, it doesn't even matter where, she needs a bigger house.
Why don't you ask yourself?
But this is a good comeback because now she's thinking broader. So thank you for that. Where are we moving her? Okay, so now that we know where she needs to get a bigger house. That's all we know, and that she wants to move to. Hold on, I'm gonna give you a good one. 29 Palms. No. This is the worst one.
Too hot.
No, Thermal. You know where Thermal is at?
No.
Google it. It's hard. Okay, so we're going from, where do we have her living at? Barstow.
Well, it'll be the same thing.
She wants to go to
the same weather.
She wants to go to Thermal. Okay, so Thermal, California. Oh yeah, she's already Googling it. Okay, so now we know where she wants to move to. Now this is important, guys, because even if the customer is stubborn, since we know where they want to move to and we should already have that information before going there, then we have to justify properties that are being sold over there at to find out and calculate what is her net going to be. And then I think with that, you'll have her locked in. Yes, sir.
Where did you say going to? Sorry.
Thermal.
Oh, okay.
You know where that's at? It's past Palm Springs. It is like
Oh, okay.
deep over there.
So I have another question. She going to move there, so she has to sold this house and get the money to buy another one.
Correct.
Just means that she has not buy it.
No, she needs the money from the sale of her home in order to buy that one.
How about that she compare the price is over the thermal area? She has enough money to sell this one and to buy another one.
Okay, so that's where we have to now like explain to her, you want all this money, but that your property is still not valued at that much. And this is what you're going to net, and what's being sold in thermal is this amount. So we have all of these things that we have to factor in for her to be convinced that she needs to drop her home. She's going to give birth in 6 weeks or less. She needs to move out of her home. So a stubborn seller, again, we redirect them, we show them tangible information, which is what we're doing, so that we can get her to sign and move over. Now, what I was going to say is, which like I said, Adriana came in with a good comeback. We didn't ask her where she was going. We didn't ask, this is where she's moving to, but now we know. With all that information and covering everything, don't you think that now she'll be more open to, okay, I'll sign at 320,000? She should be more prone to that.
Yeah.
But even if she wasn't, if she says, I'll sign at 350, I'll do it her way. So we gotta be realistic also at this. Momentum is one thing, but we also have to be able to give a leeway, a little bit in. I'll do it your way, but guess what? I'm only doing it your way for 1 week.
Just 1 week.
1 week.
1 week.
Because this market is critical. That whole 2 week mark, I honestly, 2 weeks, 14 days, I feel like it's a lot. Like it is a lot, especially in this market. We need to capture a buyer quick because their intentions are of getting into escrow now. The other buyers, as soon as they see properties on the market for a long time, what do? They start nickel and diming. They start trying to do a price reduction. No, this property, even after a week, they're like, well, how come this home hasn't gotten into escrow yet? They start thinking things. So we need to get in there like, okay, I'll do it for a week. I'll do an open house Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I will let you know what goes on in those open houses. I will even invite them. If you want, you can stay in the open house. I want you to see the people that are gonna come through.
My client didn't want an open house. He didn't want a sign. He didn't want
anything. Did he want to sell?
He did, and he did get offers.
Okay, that's good.
And I was not sure about the price. They came higher than that. I was like, wow.
So it's a case-by-case study, but I'll do it for a week. We'll sign the contract, but guess what? I'm also signing a modification of terms because after that, we're putting at the price that I suggested so you can get you into escrow.
Modification already inside. Okay.
So when you go in for a listing presentation, also go in with a modification of terms. Why? Because then you don't have to go back to the client and ask them, you know what? I need you to sign this, because then they're gonna say, you know what? I don't know. So go in with everything.
Yeah.
Okay. My last listing that I had here in Upland, I had a situation like that. I got everything done up front. And then by the time, and it's funny because even before I even placed it on the market, because he wanted a certain price, when I had suggested a different price, then he comes and he calls me. He's like, you know what? I'd rather go with the price that you originally spoke about. I'm like, okay, because his intentions needed to move. He needed to move. He already had there was already property being built in Banning.
Oh, okay.
So he needed, like, you know how there's one lot is available, and as soon as they get reserved, you have to wait a certain amount of time for the next lot to be available. Well, that's what ended up happening. So he was like, you know what? Forget it. I'm gonna go with the price that you're telling me to go in at.
Don't waste your time.
So he didn't want to waste time. All right, guys, let's move forward. Did you guys understand that?
Yes.
Cool. So we're gonna have pricing challenges and whatnot. We've already discussed, the whole Adriana says that her house is better than the other ones listed at lower price. We already defined that. She says that her home is better at 400, when in reality it's not. Sorry, But we've discussed that, and we've discussed how it would be to talk to them. You can look at this dialogue and you can see more examples. But I think you guys understand where we're coming at, meaning that even with the stubborn sellers, again, if everything is tangible, you have it in your hand, you got comparables, you have market share information, you have everything. If you come prepared for the listing consultation, the objections are going to be very minimal and should be easy. Like every objection that Adriana could come up with, I'm pretty sure I could justify or be able to get around it. And I like the fact that Adriana touched bases on, we didn't even ask where she was moving to. Okay. Now let's talk about something. When it comes down to, I want to skip forward to, because we hit these challenges. Obviously, the market price. Okay. What if? Hold on. This is a good one. Page 18. I want to see if you guys have heard this one. Have you heard of Joe said he would list my home above the market?
Oh, yeah, so many times.
Okay, so Adriana can say to us, well, Marisa said that she could sell my home at $420,000. Okay, look at these examples. How did Marisa justify the price? Did they share numbers with you? Do you have a copy? Do you think what buyers have done in the past situations is important? Remember, all of these are examples of how we leverage it out is what? Tangible information. We have justification right here. Anybody can take a listing, but you have to be able to sell it. Buyers are going to buy a home based on what the value is of that home. What you might think is the value of your home is not what market value is. Why? Because usually a seller's interpretation of value is the emotional value they have in it, the memories that they have in it. They find that to be value. No, just because you put in $100,000 brand new kitchen doesn't mean you're going to get $100,000 of that back when you sell it. That's cosmetic. It probably needed to be updated. But the cost that you put into it doesn't mean you're going to get it back in the sale of the property. Okay? Oh, but there's not that much inventory and buyers are willing to pay whatever it takes. No, buyers buyers are more intelligent than what we thought. They are not going to buy. They're going to buy what they think the value is, and they're going to buy and have a limit. It's not like 2 years ago during COVID where buyers were going like 70,000, 100,000 over list price. And that's out of pocket. No, they're not doing that anymore. So when they say that Joe said would list my home above the market value, no. Now we can go back and say and redirect into the motivation. Okay. Do you guys have questions in regards to this area? Because that's the most common one, which is the listing.
No, it's very clear.
Very clear, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk quickly about commissions. This should be easy. This is an easy one. Commissions. We should know what our value is, right? Why did you say it like that?
Because I always wanted to charge 6 in there, like.
I charged 6 on this one.
I couldn't charge 4.
Did you help them find the replacement property?
No, they're not. They don't want to buy a replacement.
Girl, we gotta talk. What are you doing? Okay, I'll just say this. Off the record, well, not off the record because it's on YouTube. It's right here. So I'll just say this. If you're unsure about going into a listing presentation, don't hesitate to contact a colleague of yours. It doesn't matter if it's myself. It doesn't matter if it's someone that's not like is a top listing agent. Like, talk to them and do a deal out with them so that they're there with you. If you're not confident going into a listing presentation, okay, work the kinks before going to the presentation. You know why? Because how about if you mess it up for yourself because you don't have that much confidence? You wanna have someone there that's gonna help you, okay? I don't care if you ask me to go and I just sit there and not say anything. I will sit there and not say anything, but if you feel more confident having another person there, I'm all for it, as long as you get the listing, okay? So let's talk about commissions. Everybody always likes to nickel and dime, right? We're now in an age, or we're in a market share, and this has been going on for years, where agents want to undervalue their work.
They put signs with 1% commission.
I love how I know those agents, they're here in the office, I get it.
Everywhere.
Hey, I have him off the side of the 10 freeway in Barranca. I see that agent. I know what his name is. He says he'll sell home for like 1%, and I'm like, okay, let's just bring it all together. In the listing, class that we had a couple of weeks ago, I keep mentioning this. There is a checklist, of over 32 bullet points of the reasons why we should get paid what we're valued at. There's no reason why you can't get a 6% commission off of a listing. There's no reason why you can't get a 5%. 5 or 6 I'm good with. But now when you start going lower and lower and lower, then I have to wonder, at what point are you going to now do a listing for free? So that's where we need to talk really well about what is value to the client. Now, again, we spoke about all of this early on. If we talk about our market share, what we know about the property, and then we explain to them what we can do for them in regards to selling their home, do you think a commission is going to be an issue? No, it shouldn't be, because we come out with confidence. So will you work for less? That's the question. I would ask him why. Do you think I'm not worth what I'm asking? It's funny, are we scared to talk to clients and ask them, are you saying that I'm not worth what I'm?
Well, this client says, oh, well, the guy from your company, the same company, they don't know this, it says the 1%. I was like, oh, no, because they're just like, I don't know, for you just to call, and when they approach you, they have to pay the sellers, the agent's
Commission, yes.
So it's just like, I was like, oh, okay, well.
Okay, so I got that. I got one of those. Where I got told, well, I saw the advertisement of someone in your office saying that they could sell my home for 1%. I go, okay. And you know what? Not to throw that agent under the bus or to speak ill of them, but I said, okay, that's great. I go, let me explain to you how I work. So there's that word, redirect. This is exactly what I'm going to be doing. Okay? I'm going to tell you right now, that agent that advertises that doesn't do any of that. Okay? Here's my bullet points. This is everything that I'm going to do. And this is my confirmation and contract sign that this is what I'm going to do. I will even answer your phone calls and your text messages and your emails. This other agent does not answer phone calls, text messages, or emails. That agent is more of a volume using agent. All they want is volume, no customer service orientation at all. Would you like to proceed with someone that does no customer service? I would be afraid of only dealing with a person that has no customer service orientation, because then I feel like they will drop the ball and not have my best interest. Wouldn't you agree? An agent that doesn't have the best interest of the client, it's going to show. So that's my approach to it. I can tell you that agent has a lot of complaints from their past clientele. Here is a copy of all the ratings that I have from my clients. As a matter of fact, I actually throw this one. This is the funny part, because now I have to justify. Here are the last 2 phone numbers of my last clients. Give them a call. Ask them about me. Find out for yourself. I could bet you that agent that sells them that 1% Ask them for their past client, to ask them how was their customer service? What did they bring up value? And what happened during the transaction? It won't justify. So see, now when you start challenging them, they're gonna forget. So have we ever questioned a client or a seller? We don't. Why? Because we're afraid. But in Momentum, it tells us not to be afraid about that. So do you not believe, Sarah, that I'm worth 6%? You see her face? It's like, this is why I can't get over this. Do you not believe that I'm worth 6%?
Yeah, I think you this, but you know, for this area, most the agent tell me just like a 4%, not 6%.
Okay. Okay, so see, here's the thing. She got me good on that for that area, and that's another one. We're gonna get clients that are gonna say, I think in the area that you work in, they say in this area, mostly all agents work for 4%. That's gonna be a tough one. Because I gotta sneeze. Oh, I wanna sneeze. Okay. Oh, no, I gotta sneeze. Okay. So when they say that they work for 4%, how hard is gonna be to overcome it? I could be like, okay, I can do, you know what? What do you believe about 4.5? Because honestly, I still have to pay my broker and they have to pay their broker as well. But do you just recall that I'm gonna do all of these things for the sale of your home? That's just something that at the moment, you're gonna have to have a feel. How do you feel with doing that? People are scared and people are not scared.
What worked for me was the circle you showed me.
There you go.
That was like.
It's a breakdown.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get it in Sarah's area, it's gonna be like that, but think about it this way, guys. Know your value and know your worth, okay? So when you're looking through all of this, do you see the difference in my approach? So these are the things that we just spoke about. I spoke about with you, Marisa. When I have to talk to them and tell them, okay, that other agent is selling themselves at 1%. Well, here are my last 2 clients. Call them. These are the ratings that I have on Zillow. Boom. This is what I normally do for my clients. I could bet you 9 times out of 10, you can contact that other agent and Google them, research them, and talk to their clientele. I could bet you the experience that they had with their agent is not going to be the same. Challenge them. Okay, so here are some questions that you may want to talk to them regarding commissions. Did Joe thoroughly discuss each person's role and expectations? Did you see value in these things? Do you see a difference in Joe's approach and mine? Then why should I charge the same fee as Joe? I like that one. I'm gonna end it with the commissions objection, okay? So this is important, you guys. I like the last question in this one. So Sarah says, well, in my area, agents are selling at 4%. Okay. Why should I charge the same fee as everyone in this area if I'm doing more?
Well, I have another agent interview, and the first one they show like a most like a you showing to me.
Actually, what?
I said the first agent came over. He's already told me what does she gonna do, but it's similar like you show me the one.
Okay, and how much do you think that I can get you more of what you're looking for? And I can get you more in commission and more in your net price, or more in your net that you're gonna net, and I can justify my commission. Wouldn't you be happy?
Yeah, they'd be happy, but still I prefer still like 4%.
You're cheap. No, okay, so here's the thing. With her, it's gonna be different. I think it's just culturally based, but they're always gonna be that. They're gonna be like that. I think it depends really on the client and how you're gonna feel for it. But the question would be, why should I charge the same fee as that person if my approach, what I'm doing is way different and I can do more? Wouldn't that justify how much my value is? But again, I always like to go back to the old school approach, which is doing the pie. I do the circle, I put the line in half, and I say, this is how every agent gets paid. Yeah, it's a peace sign.
Yeah, she make it like that.
That's what I do.
Pay broker, then I have to pay flyers and this and that, I even pay more than the, I show you something.
Yes, I know, when I do the presentation, there has a CMA report, that has how the commission goes, show the client. But for me, most of the presentation, the seller want to lower the commission, but I just give, for the average, but still I doing more. That's why if I ask them for higher commission, most of it not, no one will agree.
So I'm gonna say this, I think everybody is different, I think everything is different. It could be a culture thing, like, I have to say this because, like, when I say culture, I know that they're so tight on how much they wanna pay. So if you're going in at 4%, you're going in at 4%, you just gotta really justify it, okay? But justify it, make sure you get the lead and get this and get it signed. I think with everybody else, I think if you just break it down and you tell them exactly how it goes and then question them back and say, I'm doing all of this for you. This is everything and you can keep all of this so that you understand. And if you can understand my value, I think we'll be fine. And the other way of coming around it is your net price or what you're gonna net. If I can get you more than what you're expecting here, wouldn't my commission justify that? Oh, well, yeah. So it's a win. At the end of the day, we wanted to make it a win.
I also only got a once last time sold another one. I was told the seller, I said, if you want to get a higher price, just pay the buyer's fees more. Or pay the buyer agent, like a 2.5. But for my side, it still has to be 2%, not lower than 2%.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. But still, I need to do more than another agent showing what do they do. So that's why they can give to me.
Yeah, that's the crazy part about that.
Yeah, if I charge him higher commission, most of they don't do it.
Okay.
Yeah, she has to be straight at a 2%, but everybody else can get 2.5 or 2.25. But her, 2.
No, I'll keep the 2.5 for me.
Of
Yeah,
course.
but if you hire, they won't give to you.
Yes.
Yeah. So, did you guys learn anything?
Yeah, I only got one time is for another 2 million, the seller is good, beginning 4%, they don't want to hire, and the later stay long time, so I suggest, pay the buyer has more, but they nice, they give my side more too, so after total 5%.
See, that works. But look, $2 million.
Yeah, over 2 million.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Right.
That's only once. Not after never. Most.
It'll
of the
happen
2%.
again.
Yeah.
It'll happen again. But I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna leave it at commission and objection. We'll leave it and we'll close it at that. Do you guys have any questions?
No.
Okay, guys. So, if you need a pal to go to your listing presentations, well, you have my phone number. I'll sit there and just sit there. Don't be afraid to know your value, know your worth, and how to overcome objections. Remember, the more you know about your market share, your objection handling will be low, to the point where you'll just get the listing and be able to sell it. Okay, so list accordingly and get the business.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, guys.
Thank you.